On this episode of the Redmond Homestead Woodworking Edition, we're going to take this old bench, at the barnwood bench, and this fireplace mantle, and we're going to make it into a hall tree. We'll start by tearing the bench down, reinforcing it, removing this so she can put baskets underneath of it, and then we're going to cut it down to 48 inches. This here's 48 inches, and we'll be cutting part of the back off and the feet off and making this 13 and a half inches wide, because that's what our opening is. That's what we got to work with. Or not our opening, but our distance from wall to door. So stay tuned and just sit back and watch. So now that we have the bench disassembled, we are going to make it match the exact top of that mantle, which is 48 inches. And that's exactly 48 inches. And the reason that we're doing that is because we don't want it to be any wider than the top of our mantle. So we're currently sitting here in limbo. What started out as an easy project, Mrs. Redmond has decided to add more to. So we're waiting for her to make our minds up. So just, yeah. So what started out as an easy project has kind of hit a standstill because we're waiting on Mrs. Redmond to make our minds up because she started adding more to the hall tree project. All right, so we have took and cut down some posts that Mrs. Redmond got from, where'd you get that from, honey?
My children's great-grandma.
Her children's great-grandmother's house. And we put them on the bottom and made bolsters out of them. They were bolsters, and now we just made them into legs. We're going to... Okay, can you move? You're in the shot. Can you move? We're in the shot. Anyways, we are going to stain this piece of barnwood because the boxes we are using to put the shoe storage in our hall tree are stained black, white, and I guess there's a little touch of like some brown in there, but we're gonna just do stained black and white because the mantle is black. So now we will begin cutting down the mantle. So we took and inset all these screws so that way you don't have to worry about catching on them or anything like that. Now we will take, and so we have a limited amount of space to work with. So we're going to have to take off on this mantle, take this trim piece here off, this decorative piece, and we're going to have to cut this foot flush right there. And then we will cut the top flush, and this here will be the face that remains. So, and then we'll be adding a mirror and some other items and different things along that line to it. But this is what we've gotten so far. All right, so we've took and cut the back side off. And this here is to make it sit up flush against the wall. Now we are going to cut the top. And when you're doing something like this and you want to make something laser straight, measure the fence off the edge of the fence on your skill saw over to the edge of the blade. And then you could set up a speed square or a straight edge down through there, and that'll make you a laser straight cut down through there. All right, so here's the finished product of the hall tree. We stained the baseboard here, this bench, a early American minwax stain. Them posts came from her ex-mother-in-law's or the kids' grandmother's old house. And then these boxes she picked up at TJ Maxx. I had to cut them down. And then here is the fireplace mantle. set up as a hall tree. Now we installed this mirror, and I picture framed it out with the strips that I took off the back side of the mantle. And then the mantle sits flush with the wall. And then we installed this piece she got from Hobby Lobby, which I modified it some. And this is going to be her key rack. Now, I know a hall tree is supposed to have coats and stuff like that. We got a closet for that. This is just more of a decorative item. And then she's already got some of her Christmas set out up top here. This here is a piece I made for her out of some barnwood. If there's any interest in that, comment on the video. And then we picked them up at Lowe's. And then she found this piece back here at a flea market. We found that piece yesterday at a flea market. And then Mr. Santa here, I forgot where he came from, but I don't know. Dollar Tree maybe? So yeah, this is how it's coming around. That's what it's looking like. I think it looks really well in that spot. Welcome to our home. Just some quick notes on how I attach this to the bench is I inset the screws right there and right there. Then I did the same here on the back side. And then I attached it to the wall here and up in behind here. And I did that on both sides. Just used some 1.5 inch, we call them guard dog screws. And then this here, I screwed it in, and then I took a crown stapler and crown stapled this trim in around it. And then the boxes, we just basically cut them down to what size we needed and just kept it as center as possible and just shot it back together with crown stapler. She found this milk jug or whatever you want to call it at a flea market as well. So that was just quick notes on how we did this. So looks really well.